How do non-state armed groups, NSAGs, apply IHL? Imagine a conflict where not all fighters wear uniforms or belong to recognized armies. Instead, some are part of groups that aren't officially states. How do these groups follow the rules of war? That's what we're here to find out. Non-state armed groups are parties to conflicts but aren't recognized as official armies. Even so, they are still bound by international humanitarian law, which is the set of rules that limit the effects of war. These groups mostly operate in what's called non-international armed conflicts, like civil wars. Their members are often seen as civilians under the law, but if they take a continuous combat function or directly fight, they lose that civilian protection. This means they have to follow core principles like distinguishing between civilians and fighters. They must avoid attacking civilians or civilian objects and cannot cause unnecessary suffering. For example, they should not use tactics that cause superfluous injury or damage. They are also expected to act with caution, especially in densely populated areas, to prevent civilian harm. When NSAGs detain people, whether fighters or civilians, they are still responsible for treating them humanely. They cannot torture or treat detainees cruelly. They must also respect detainees' rights and follow rules about fair treatment and conditions of detention. The International Committee of the Red Cross has issued guidance to help these groups understand their obligations and improve detainee treatment. Applying IHL is not always easy for NSAGs. Many lack formal command structures or proper training, which makes compliance difficult. They often do not have the same resources as state armies, and their lack of legal recognition complicates accountability. Still, efforts are underway to engage these groups in dialogue, encouraging them to respect IHL norms through dissemination and monitoring. A key concept is the continuous combat function. If a member of an NSAG fights regularly, they lose their civilian protection for as long as they continue to participate in hostilities. This helps law enforcement target those who are actively fighting, while civilians who are not involved remain protected. Holding NSAGs accountable for violations is challenging. Sometimes individuals face prosecution for war crimes, but group responsibility and victims' rights to reparations are less often enforced. Still, victims have the right to seek justice and reparations under international law. In summary, even though NSAGs are not recognized as official armies, they are still required to follow the core rules of international humanitarian law. Respecting civilian lives, humane treatment of detainees, and careful conduct during hostilities help reduce suffering and protect those caught in conflict. Their compliance, though difficult, is vital for limiting the harm caused by war.